Sean here with Wahoo Warrior. I'm going to be playing a 1,000 point game. I'm going to be taking my British against my buddy Alan's Americans. We've been wanting to play a game, so we're going to play up a 1,000 point game. This is probably the last game before we start a campaign. We're going to be starting a pretty extensive campaign here. We'll go over all the details with that later, but here's Alan.
Good morning.
So I'm going to go ahead and go over my army list. The only thing is I did work all night, so any gameplay that I look like I'm making horrible mistakes, I'm going to blame it on exhaustion. Okay, so my army, I'm taking a lot of veterans here. I have my first lieutenant right there. He is a veteran. I don't normally take my lieutenants as a veteran. He has a submachine gun and with an attendant there. I have an 8-man veteran squad. They're just rifles. And then I have another 8-man veteran squad with rifles. Next I have my free forward artillery observer. And then I have a 6-man commando squad. Those guys are veterans, and they all have rifles. They do have anti-tank grenades, and they, if you don't know, they have the tough fighter special rule. And there's another 6-man squad of commandos, and then after that I have a medium machine gun team, and a heavy, this is a model's actually a medium mortar, but it's a heavy mortar with a spotter. I have a sniper team right there. I have a Piat team right there. And then I have a light howitzer, the British light howitzer. I don't have a spotter for it. It also can fire light anti-tank. And then I have a cruiser tank. It's a Cromwell, and that's a medium tank. It has a medium armor. It's got the 75mm gun, so it shoots D6 HE, and it's a medium anti-tank gun. And it has a coaxial medium machine gun and a forward-facing medium machine gun. And just one thing to note, we are playing the boltaction.net Season 2 rules, and we'll go over a few of those in just a moment. Alright, Alan, what do you got?
Okay, I've got 1,000 point Americans. This is a 8-man veteran squad with 2 bars. This is also a 8-man veteran squad with 2 bars. This is a 7-man ranger squad, and it's got 1 bar, I believe. Yes. And they have the special rule of rangers lead the way, so they'll have a free movement after deployment but before gameplay. I have 2 8-man paratrooper squads. This one is the NCO has a submachine gun, and 2 of the paratroopers have submachine guns, the rest rifles. This is all rifles. I have a light mortar squad that I have not got painted up. It's primed, ready to go, but I haven't got it painted. This is a heavy howitzer, proxying a medium howitzer, and there's 5 wounds with a spotter. This is a...
Did you buy the gun shield for that?
Let me look, because I do not remember. And the heavy howitzer has the spotter and no shield.
Okay.
Okay, and then first lieutenant with pistol has a extra man with a submachine gun. I have a Jeep with a mounted 30 cal or medium machine gun. This Jeep also has a medium machine gun, however it's not on yet, but that will be ready for the next one. And I have a 1.5 with a mounted heavy machine gun, and that's the 11 dice 1,000 point American list.
Yeah, and I have 12 dice in my list. Almost everything I have is painted. Don't have the basing done yet, but I was pretty happy to get what I got done so far. My national characteristic for my rule for my British is rapid rifles. So that means for every 3 rifles in the unit shooting, I can get 1 extra free shot. That's one of the reasons why I kind of composed my army the way I did. And I have a tank, he doesn't, but you know, and we have all veteran infantry squads,
Yes,
so
yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
Hard to die.
Because if you look at the board, we went crazy with the terrain. We've been wanting to play with more terrain, and this is probably the most we've had on the board. Yeah. So everything is pretty much what you see. We're going to try to really pay attention to our line of sight and our cover. Sometimes we just wing it and we just kind of say, well, that's close enough. We're going to try to... the reason why we're kind of playing this game is Minneapolis had they're having a tournament, and we like the tournament rules. There's 1,000-point single platoon list.
Right.
So we wanted to make a single platoon list at 1,000 points using the boltaction.net rules. And then we figured, you know, we're not going to Minneapolis, but it'd be fun to play a tournament type of format.
Yeah.
So we can play with it. Bolt Action, I'm not going to read the whole rules for the .net, but you can look them up online if you're not familiar with them. The main things are fixed weapons can turn and fire at a -1. They can't move and fire. Anti-tank and machine gun teams, they get to, if they deploy on the board, they can decide to be an ambush. Infantry medium machine guns get a rate of fire of 6. Nobody's playing German, so no extra. Light machine guns cost 5 points in our list. Open top vehicles, armored open top vehicles, which neither one of us have, so that won't be applicable. Then it kind of does some stuff with flamethrowers, but we don't have any of those. Heavy and super heavy anti-tank guns, nobody has any of those. And that's pretty much it. So mainly the machine guns will have 6 shots. The other things can turn and fire, and the light machine guns are cheaper.
Right.
So that's our list. We're going to roll a scenario, and then we will start our deployment. Just an overview of the board again with the terrain. We've got a couple of wheat fields in the corners. They block. They're -1 to be hit if you're in them, and they don't block any line of sight. We've got lots of hedges. You know, hedges we count them as an obstacle, so you can't run through them, but they're soft cover. We have stone walls. They're the hard cover. The fire's coming across them. We got several buildings. Wreck buildings are just rough terrain. Don't give you the cover or the harder to kill bonus of a building. We got roads. Trees block line of sight if you track more than 2 inches through them. You don't suffer the penalty if you're on the edge of them shooting out. That's pretty much the terrain. Quite a bit on the board here. And then we do roll up maximum attrition, so we go ahead and play it. No special rules, we're just trying to kill each other. And he starts off by placing a spotter because we both elect to have all our guys come in first wave. Here's a spotter for his heavy howitzer. I put my sniper right here. Come to find out, it's actually about 18.5 inches away from him, but that's the best place I could get to shoot him, so but that will affect my shooting. And there's my artillery observer behind this shrub, and all those spotter units are hidden. My mortar spotter was up there on that building too. He surprises me, brings in his 2.5 straight down the road, and these guys are all in there. Those 2 squads of veterans, and well, they're paratroopers, but wow, oh yeah, so I counter with the tank, and I drive my tank straight up the road, and I thought that he really made a huge mistake. You know, I figure if I hit that with my medium anti-tank gun, it's going to be +5 penetration. The truck will be destroyed. Both units in there will take a hit, D6 hits, and then be at the same penetration. Even though those guys are veterans, they'd be dying on 2 ups, because 1's always fail to wound. So I thought he made a horrible mistake, and I was about to make him pay for it. And it's like shooting for me. It's you know, I don't hit with my howitzer. I hit with the whole mount medium machine gun and put a pin on there. So the truck and everybody in there has a pin. I mean, I needed a 4, so there's a 50-50 chance. I bring my mortar in here, so basically I can see the top of that hill up there. This Jeep runs into there. He does bring his howitzer on the top of that hill. I kind of thought he might, since his observer was over on the other side, so I can see that hill pretty good. Runs the squad in here on this little wall. Excuse me. I go ahead and I advance this squad in. I do take some shots at the Jeep. Most of my guys have that wall in the way, so he's got hard cover, but I am able to score a hit. So I put a pin on there, but don't kill it. I go ahead and bring my howitzer in, advance it in to the side here. I got a nice shot down the road. His other Jeep comes in an advance order back there. He does spray some bullets up towards where the sniper is, but my sniper's still hidden because his other Jeep's not close enough. I run these guys to here. Just get up behind that wall. I bring my medium machine gun in here in a nice fire position on top of this little hill. His light mortar comes in and tries to fire smoke to block off his truck, but it drifts off and I put it over there. My Piat team runs into the bottom of this building. I'm hoping to kill a Jeep with my Piat. Here's his lieutenant. Another, this is a veteran squad. They run in and get to the edge of the woods. The way we play, you can run order outside the woods, but you can only move half into it. You can't give a run order while you're in rough terrain. And then I'll go ahead and decide to bring some commandos in on the right side here. Can't see them with this howitzer, which is nice. I bring a veteran squad of rifles up the road behind the tank. And then my sniper goes in and shoots at his observer for his howitzer, because that guy can see it down there quite a bit, and I failed to wound him. I did put a pin on him. My artillery strike, I call it in on the truck, because I know he's still going to try to bail these guys out, but it's D6 plus 6 inches, so I'm hoping to still catch him with some pin markers. He runs these guys out and runs them into this church, and he runs these guys kind of around the side of that hedge and down the side of that thing there, so that's them. And then he runs these guys in from the side of the board and runs them into that building. So he's got that building. So there's the overview into the turn. A lot coming on. We didn't make a video for this phase just because it's mostly moving in. Not a whole lot of action, just moving in. I'm liking kind of where I'm set up. He's going to have more units on the left-hand side than me, but I'm hoping to just hold them off. Here's another view of the same thing. It's looking good so far. So we're going to go ahead and start turn 2, and we got to roll for my artillery barrage. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with my videos. I started playing the British. I have bonded myself with my artillery in almost every single game. So with no exception, I roll a 1 again. So frustrating. So at least I'm hoping. I mean, he can move it 24 inches, and he does. He moves it down and basically puts it on top of my tank. Down in the vicinity where all my infantry are, and then I roll a 6, so it's actually, you know, a 12-inch blast radius or of effect, and it's like, if I don't have, you know, bad luck, I don't have any luck sometimes, so that's very frustrating. So here's the overview of the damage I did to myself. Lots of pin markers. Fortunately, Alan didn't roll any 6s, but you can see he hit all those units, my squads. Lots of 3s on the pins. Got 2 pins on the squad on the left, and he was within range of his unit in the chapel, so they also are affected. Yeah, so I'm pretty pissed off and dejected about this, because I really was hoping to suppress his guys with that fire, but and there's them. They took 1 pin, but whatever. So I go ahead and advance the tank up and kind of cock him sideways. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. Oh, I'm just keeping my front arc towards the front there. I don't know where that squad that's behind that little bridge is going to go, so I can hull mount the truck, and then I got the turret. And I did kind of block off my howitzer from the truck, but now my howitzer can fire at the church pretty good without having to worry about being within an inch of my tank. And he can't see me with this howitzer. My tank gun does hit, and I score. I do kill 2 guys with it, so that's nice. He puts a fire order on this howitzer, and this, you know, this howitzer is a unit eraser. If he would happen to hit, his spotter can see them. He needs a 6 though, and he rolls a 4, so that's good. This with the Bolt Action Season 2 rules, units that are transports that don't have anybody in them can fire one weapon. So he fires his heavy machine gun at these guys, and he actually scores a hit and kills a guy. That heavy machine gun +1 penetration. And my forward observer goes ahead and he's going to call in a artillery shot with the medium mortar, and I don't know where that went. This guy took a pin. I wonder if that must be from my sniper. It must be an order dice on my sniper. His lieutenant moves up behind the building here. That way he can help with those guys with their pins. Checks on their turn. So these guys here, they fire out that building. There's only one window on this side, so they only have like 2 shots. They're putting them on these guys. I do have hard cover because of that rock there between the, so not able to do any damage with the couple shots. These guys do a rally, and my lieutenant's right behind them, so they're able to successfully rally. The bad news is they're standing in the same spot, so the howitzer can hit them on a 5-up. He moves the unit behind the bridge into the 3-story building. They're on the ground floor there. Here I fire my mortar, and yeah, the other order dice would have been on the sniper. So I missed there. I need a 6. So I roll a 2. I need to suppress that howitzer. It's like my biggest fear. It's just so powerful. These guys come out of the building back there and they move up behind this building. They advance up. They start firing at my Piat team, and they score some hits. They need 6s to wound. He had 2 hits and needs 6s to wound, and he rolls 2 6s. So my Piat team is destroyed. I had actually, if you see that dice, I put my Piat team on ambush. I didn't want his medium machine gun jeep driving into point blank range with my sniper, but should have shot him. I would have got a shot. These guys advance over the hedgerow and they move up to the wall and they return some fire, and they actually do really well and are able to kill 3 dudes. So hooray British. And I rolled exceptional damage, and his NCO died. So he took a pin, lost 3 guys, and his NCO is dead. That was great shooting with some rifles. His light mortar, he can move and fire it. He moves him over just a little bit because he couldn't see between the smoke that had drifted over in the trees, and he fires a smoke round or a fire for effect round, but it misses. Here his jeep is firing back at me and puts a pin on me and kills a guy. And the next here I just rally my lieutenant. Mainly, with all that artillery, I just gotta rally these guys. Looks like his other jeep drives up to the wall, and I believe that he shoots at my sniper. He's unable to do any damage. I don't know what this is. He lost a guy. Oh, that's my medium machine gun. That's pretty far. Long range. No really thing blocking. And so I laid down some suppressive fire with my medium machine gun. It was just inside my arc. So medium machine gun scores a hit and a kill. These commandos go into the woods here. And my observer now has nothing to do, so he just kind of wanders off the hilltop and just gonna hide back here, preserve the order dice. I'm able to rally my cannon, but I roll a 1 on the check, so I still have 1 pin left on me. And that's pretty much. Okay, that's the end of turn 2. I didn't make a video at the end of turn 1 because basically everything was just kind of moving in. He was freak shot in my Piat team. Basically a freak shot. Boxcars followed by boxcars to kill the Piat team. So that's the first order dice that's been removed. I mostly spent the turn trying to remove pin markers off my guys. I was pretty successful with that. I was happy. yeah, other than that, we're just kind of doing some maneuvering for some positions, and you know, the 6-shot medium machine gun with the bolt action rules was kind of nice. Gave me a few extra shots. Had a nice shot on those guys there. The tank is just basically pushing into the middle and just trying to have at it with anybody that you can get a hold of. I'm kind of over. I got way more against me on the left here, so I did kind of move my commando squad to try to come over to start assisting. I did get a pretty good shot off on the squad, the veteran squad, though. I was pretty happy with that shooting. But he returned fire with a medium machine gun and took out a guy and put a pin on me. So, what are you thinking there, Alan?
Well, you know, your rallying was not unexpected. I think everything's going the way I kind of expected. I'm right in the position I want to be in.
Oh, yeah?
The battlefield looks nice.
Alright, let's go to turn 3.
Very good.
Yeah, this squad totally, I was not expecting that. They just advance out of the windows and they start shooting at this unit right there behind the wall. So he's just standing in the open. He's got a medium machine gun on his right. I got a couple squads over there. He fires and doesn't kill anybody. I did put a pin on me with that shooting though. His Jeep comes over to help out and it fires and doesn't even score a hit. Over here my commandos decide to get in a better spot. They run over there behind that brick. His Jeep is there and he starts firing at my sniper but doesn't do anything. Here my medium machine gun team, I transverse it over because it's -1 and I go ahead and fire at that squad. Here my heavy mortar zeroes in on them with a 5 and I'm able to destroy them. Does D3 pins and then he fails his check. He had one guy left alive, so that's gone. Whew, that's nice. Over here I am able to get a fire order off and I can kind of see the edge of the tower or the church without being within 1 inch, but I miss on a 2. Here his other squad back there kind of fires up at my sniper. These guys run over here behind this stone wall, a little more cover. He's got a unit in this building here on the right now over by my commandos. These commandos here fail their order check with the 1 pin. Really pissed me off. Targets my tank with his light mortar, trying to desperately to do something to the tank. I fail this order check. I was going to assault that squad. I fail my order check, so I have to go down. He's got his Jeep over here, took a pin. I think, oh, from my sniper. I went ahead and shot my sniper. This guy passes his order check, clears the pin, fires his heavy machine gun at my unit that ran behind this wall. He's able to score a hit and kill a guy. And then he foobars with his rangers or whatnot, paratroopers in the church. They have to run away from the tank, so they run as far as they can to the right. And then he just moves a veteran squad in there to replace him. He's got a lot of manpower. This guy just goes down. He has a pistol, but I'm not going to risk the order dice. My lieutenant moves over to a little safer spot. I'm not super happy with this particular. I feel like I'm cornered off here. There's not a lot of terrain to cover me to the left, but he's got the building, so I have to stick with the thing there. His lieutenant had ran into the church too, so I figure I better keep my tank over here. So his lieutenant and the squad's there. Fire my howitzer point blank into there, and we had actually said before the game started, if anybody's in a building on the same level, on the same floor as a unit that gets targeted by HE, the HE's powerful enough, it's going to affect all the units in that clumped up group. So it hits the lieutenant's squad, it does D6 hits, and it does enough to kill the lieutenant. And then I only roll 1 casualty on these guys and only 1 pin. So this, or actually 2 pins. Is that a second pin there? But it didn't do a whole lot to the squad, just so 1 died.
Okay, so that concludes turn 3. Quite a bit of action. On the left hand side here, I had a sequence of failed checks. The commandos were supposed to put some fire on them. They failed, so I had to go down. My unit here was going to assault them because he's within 6, because he moved up there and fired at me. So I was going to come over the wall and assault him. I would have went first, but I would have liked the odds on that since I would have gone first. But they failed and went down. Other than that, my machine gun did put a pin on him, but didn't kill anybody. Tank had the great shot, so point blank on the building hit, was able to kill the lieutenant. And put a couple pins on the squad. Over here, I just kind of backed off. I thought about going in the building. I figured he would assault me. We'd go at the same time. We had roughly the same amount of attacks. But I just played it safe. And much from my side. Oh, my mortar killing the howitzer. That was pretty huge.
Right.
What are you thinking, Dylan?
Well, losing the lieutenant was bad, but not devastating. You know, the dice is nice, but it's not devastating because of the veteran feel. You know, it's just
yeah.
Usually adding one or something along that order, so it wasn't
Well,
devastating.
I have to say though, I didn't have my leadership over here and failed these. Oh, and then you had a foobar.
Right, I did.
So you did get a foobar.
Yeah, my paratroopers
needing a
over
10 on your check, and you
right.
little boxcars.
Yeah.
They had to sprint out the window.
Exactly, and ran away. But they did take the pin off, and they're still okay. You know,
how'd they take the pin off?
They passed the order test.
You rolled a foobar. That's not a pass.
Oh no.
They should still have a pin on.
Yeah, they should. They do still have a pin. Yes, right. That. My mistake. Yeah. So.
So you got a squad in here, a squad in there,
right.
A squad out in the open that I thought were gonna die when they did that. I was totally shocked you did that, and then the fates have the bold, I guess, and they're doing fine.
Right.
We'll be starting turn 4 here.
Turn 4.
Alright.
In the turn, I pulled the first dice, and I waffled quite a bit about what I'm going to do. I was going to try to pass the order check and assault that unit that's standing in the open with my guys behind the wall. End up chickening out and deciding to play it cautious. Fire my medium machine gun at that unit. I'm able to put a pin on, but don't kill anyone. So it's not as good as I was kind of hoping. He ends up charging me, but he would have had to. We would have went at the same time as I'm defending the wall. He couldn't walk around it to assault me, so he elected to just stand and shoot right there. It kind of surprised me. I figured he'd take advantage of that move and shoot and move, but he's able to put a pin on and kill a guy. His medium machine gun jeep lets loose with this medium machine gun. He's able to put another pin on, but doesn't kill anybody. So it's pretty quickly he's racked up 4 pins on that unit. My commandos advance through the woods, and at the edge of it, they're able to kill 2 guys from pretty decently close range. A couple of guys were in point blank. Looks like I take a pin here from he's shooting out the doors and the door and the window of that building at my commandos. I think I shoot back. Yeah, shoot. I don't remember what that picture of. Here's my mortar, just trying to hit his unit that's standing out in the open over there on the left. They can see down that way, but I missed with 1. And then let me kind of go back over on the left-hand side. This my sniper takes a pin from his squad down there. They're just kind of firing up at me. And then I take another pin from his medium machine gun jeep. He's only needing 5s to kill me because I'm on the rooftop, not in the building. But I'm able to pass an advance order, so I move my sniper squad over here, keep them out of line of fire of those guys, and then I actually do some shooting that unit there. And I need I think 5s to hit, 5s to wound. I'm able to, with 2 shots, kill 2 guys. That was pretty crazy rolling. Then my tank goes ahead and fires into the church, and I hit with my HE shell, and I kill 4 guys. Put 2 extra pins on there. He fails his morale check, needing a 6, and that unit is destroyed. So yeah, point blank howitzer shot. Still needs a 4 to hit, but 50-50. This guy traverses over because with the rules from the Bolt Action Season 2, you can turn and fire with a -1. So I shoot at that building there, and I need a 6, and I roll a 5. So they're safe. Still hard to hit things in buildings. My lieutenant kind of comes around the side of this shed, just trying to stay away 6 inches away so I can't get assaulted, and just fire a few shots and be able to put a pin on the units in the building. And his truck heavy machine gun activates and fires, and is able to score a hit on these guys, so they take another pin. So the American list, he's got a lot of ability to put a lot of pins on stuff, that's for sure. I activate that unit and I advance down the road, so I remove one pin and I fire at that squad that's standing out in the open, but failed to do any damage to it.
Alright, so that's the end of turn 4. Pretty eventful. Not where I thought it would be eventful. He decided to shoot me there instead of going at the same time in close combat. And racked up with a lot of pins, so that part worked. But then I was able to kind of return the favor. I didn't really do much damage. These guys did none. They did like 1. They failed to activate, and my sniper walked over, fired 2 rounds, and killed 2 guys.
Killed 2 guys, yeah. Regular
with the walking regular rifles. I'm actually gonna leave my order dice for down on here.
Oh, okay. For
and
down?
that'll remove a pin marker, and they'll just stay down.
Okay.
So that'll remove a pin marker and they'll stay down. Other than that, big shot with the main gun of the tank, getting that 6 on the number of hits, wiped out that unit, and they failed their check.
Right.
They had 4 pin markers on them. Other than that, a little bit of a standoff over here, just trading a few shots. Did wheel with the Bolt Action Season 2 rules, you can wheel guns and machine guns over and take a -1, so I did wheel that around. My machine gun had wheeled around and fired there. So, yeah, it's looking a lot better for me. You still have plenty of units though, so it's very much there's very much in the balance.
Yeah.
Separate. So.
That tank was really the bugaboo for me. I didn't have anything to counteract it. The heavy howitzer, but it was never ever in the range.
You had one chance on that one turn when I first moved up. Then you brought your howitzer in. If you would have pulled the dice before me, you could have took a side shot with the howitzer on the tank.
Right.
You would have needed a 4. You would have needed a 4 or 5 maybe to hit.
Right.
Depending on the range, it would have been close. But,
Well,
it was a heavy. Oh yeah. So it would have been a 4.
Right.
So you would have 50% chance to hit me.
Yeah.
Plus 4 penetration for
I
that?
believe so. Yeah.
So you could have penetrated me on a 5, minus on a 4 on the side. So not guaranteed by any means, but
No. But a heck of a lot better than the heavy machine gun on the deuce and a half in front of you.
Yeah.
So nothing scary there.
Alright, so we're going to go into turn 5.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here.
Very good.
He pulls first dice and he runs those guys or advances them into the bottom of that 3-story building. I go ahead and I had stayed down with that unit there, so his Jeep now activates and fires. My sniper goes ahead and activates and puts a shot, tries to shoot those guys who just walked into the bottom floor of that building, but I missed. He's firing out the doors of this building again. My howitzer goes in and fires at him, but I rolled a 1, so I missed there. Needed a 5, I believe, this turn. So missed there. This squad fires at the Jeep. I'm able to score some hits and get a 6 and kill it. I knocked it out. Finally got rid of one of the Jeeps. Heavy mortar team. He targets the truck. Got a line of sight to it. Try to maybe get rid of it. It's been standing there right in front of that tank the whole game, just firing heavy machine gun rounds. It's survived. My commandos over here go ahead and assault that unit that had just fled into that building. They come out of the woods. I am successful. I lose 1. We go same time, but he had 3 guys left. He kills 1. I wipe him out. Heavy machine gun on the truck goes ahead and fires, and it fires at those guys right there. It's able to put a pin on, but didn't kill anybody. That's a 360 mount on that truck. My tank fires at the machine gun at the truck and fires at the building with its HE. The light mortar goes ahead and tries to fire at my tank and misses this round. He did score a hit somewhere along. I think that was a hit before. He fired it a few turns, but it didn't do any damage. Didn't even cause a pin. And then his unit moves into the graveyard and fires at my lieutenant with a few guys that could see him, but failed to hit. I just go down with this guy. And then my commando squad, they just fire into the building. I don't want to get any closer because I don't really want close combat. He does assault with this squad in the back here. So he's got same amount of guys as me. We go simultaneously, and this is the roll. I win by 1, so I wipe him out. And he kills 3 of my guys. So with me wiping him out, that pretty much is the game. He goes ahead and calls it at that point. So I'm up about 6 dice to 1 or 2, and he doesn't have a whole lot of prospects of knocking out anything anytime soon. He still had some guys in that house, and he had a paratrooper squad in the cemetery back down the right. But other than that, the center was pretty much open. The left just opened up, and I'd be able to kind of finish the game either by avoiding him or hunting down at my leisure with like my tank, like the truck or something, or the mortar. But we only had a turn left after this, plus maybe an additional turn. And at this point I was exhausted. Worked all night the night before, and was starting to get a little bit delirious. So yeah, it was a fun game. You know, all this terrain on the board really makes you think about what you're doing and watching for another turn. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy. It's frustrating, but enjoyable. You got all these woods in the way, and you can't see more than 2 inches through wood, so it blocks that line of sight. So you've got these really narrow lanes of fire, and you have to plan ahead. And we're going to be starting a campaign here soon, and we're planning to do it very similar to this, my British versus his German and whatnot, and my German versus his Russians. But it's going to be a slow grow-ish type of thing, where you can carry units over to the next battle. It's going to be fun. So another thing that we're going to be doing is I'm going to really probably change the format of the videos. We're going to kind of, if you ever watch any of the tabletop battle guys or whatever, they pretty much record the whole thing. We're going to attempt to maybe try to do something like that, maybe a set camera that runs through the whole time, and then I'll still take close-up pictures of lines of fire and stuff, but I won't have to document each order dice as it's pulled, as it'll be in the video. But then the pictures will be more for aesthetic purposes and kind of the neat feel for the game. So you get a lot now that we're getting our guys all painted. You can get those close pictures. It really puts you at that eye level of the soldiers, which is what really makes Bolt Action exciting and fun. It's that you kind of feel for your troops, and it looks like something out of a movie. So look forward to that new format, and thanks for watching. Comments and any critiques or questions, feel free to ask them and put them on the board. Thanks so much.